Hello. She's thinking about it. It's been about 4 seconds. She's thinking.
I was trying to think of something funny to say, and I couldn't think of anything.
Yeah, you can.
But
so, there you go.
When in doubt, it's always bots. I should know this.
Welcome back to
peak comedy.
Wheel Takes Podcast, a podcast about how I tricked my wife into reading 15 books.
It really is.
The books are called The Wheel of Time. They're by Robert Jordan. I'm Gus. I've read all of them.
And I'm Allie, and I'm on book 8 of this adventure.
Yeah.
The other day, my husband said the funniest shit to me. He was like, "You never read any books I recommended." I was like, "Excuse me? I'm fucking halfway through the commitment, the multi-year commitment that I made to you."
That's true.
You are not allowed to say shit to me about whether or not I read books that you recommend.
I read several books you recommended over our vacation.
It's called Retribution.
Yeah. And they were great. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Did I recommend a bad book?
No.
Did you read a single bad book over break?
No. No, I did not. They were all good.
Not for me.
This podcast only contains spoilers for what Allie has already read. That includes everything up to and including Book 8, Chapter 12, which is called New Alliances.
New Alliances.
Alliances. Allie.
Yes.
Here's what I want to know.
What?
How are you?
You know what? I've been pretty good because two things. One, I'm on a new medication.
Yes.
For my fibromyalgia, and it has changed my entire life.
Yes.
I have more energy, as you can hear. My pain was cut pretty much in half. I am sleeping through the night for the first time in like 10 years. What else? What else is new? It's all good. My anxiety is like non-existent at this point. Like I still feel anxious, but it's like a normal person's, not like a cyclone of terror.
It's fun, isn't it?
It's incredible. Normal people who don't feel anxious, it slaps. It's highly underrated.
Talking about the mythical neurotypical.
I know. I feel like, what am I, a fucking neurotypical?
Weird.
I know.
Allie, here's what I want to know.
What?
Where did we leave off?
Your butt.
We did 100 I almost said 100 chapters. 100 pages last week. Felt like 100 chapters.
Yes. Perrin and the My Wife saga.
Yes.
Where, somebody said that they really enjoyed the things that would put Perrin into a coma.
That was fun. It was pointed out to me also that Perrin might think Morghese looks younger because she might have slowed because she can channel a tiny bit. That's a good point.
Would that cause her to slow a lot, though?
No, but it would cause her to slow some.
So it's like the EDS of...
We made that joke.
Did we make that joke?
We did.
Wait, okay, so one more thing. Wait, what was I going to say? Oh, somebody left us a new review, and it was really, really nice.
Oh, thanks.
And I just wanted to say, if that was you on Apple Podcasts,
you're very nice.
Thank you, and we liked you.
Appreciate
It was like right after Christmas, so we didn't see it until really recently. And I just wanted to say thanks, and you're a star. Anyway. And now we have 99 reviews on Apple Podcasts, and I'm just like, who's going to be the 100th review? It's a race to the finish.
So we left off with Perrin.
Uh-huh.
This week we shift gears back to Galina. How's she?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it's this part.
I mean, she's great if you like getting hit a lot.
Yep.
But otherwise, not good.
Chapter 11, questions.
Wait, did you want me to read my notes?
Oh, God, yeah, I'm sorry. Well, I was going to say, this is the chapter logo. What is it?
It's a spear and buckler.
Yeah, and then I was going to say, do you have notes for Chapter 11, questions and an oath?
I do. Hold on. What's this book called? Path of Daggers.
The Path of Daggers.
Hold on, I gotta scroll because I'm not prepared ever in my life, and I stand by that. Okay. Not a lot of notes.
Well,
not like the things that would put Perrin in a coma.
No.
Sevanna losing power mañana. Bobby's BDSM bops track B.
What?
Okay, so I decided for some reason. First of all, I decided for some reason that this chapter is called, that it's been poorly named, and it's actually Bobby's BDSM Bops Track B.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah.
And then I said, Bobby has introduced baby's first butch in The Wheel of Time.
Tharava?
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Change my mind.
No, I will not. Remember when
I'm queerifying these books in my headcanon. I don't care.
You remember when I read you the quotation about bottom quite thoroughly? And
I wish you would never say that to me again.
And you said it feels homophobic.
It feels homophobic.
And then I actually got some fun chatter online that was like, no, it kind of is, in a weird, sort of unintentional way.
Like, it kind of feels like you're sitting around at Thanksgiving and your grandpa turns to you, very good-naturedly trying to bond with you and your lesbian girlfriend, and they're like, so which one of you is the guy?
Yeah.
Like, that's how it kind of feels. Do you know what I mean? Like, where it's like grandpa, also like, it was good-natured.
It was about these two. It was about Galina and Tharava.
I know. So, I know.
Anyway, we can just never think about that again if we want. No Perrin in these chapters. Do you miss him?
I'm afraid of the Perrin stance. I don't have to answer that question.
Chapter 11, questions.
I miss him because he reminds me of you.
Aww. Chapter 11.
But you're way less boring.
Thank you.
And way less misogynistic.
Thank you. Questions and an oath. Perrin, chap. No, it's not. Sevanna, chap.
Don't scare them like that. People turned off the podcast just now.
Delusions of Grendel runs screaming. The air in the huge stable smelled of old hay and horse dung and blood and burned flesh.
Whoa.
With all the doors closed, the air felt thick.
Oh, ew. Someone set this place on fire, right?
The man hanging by his wrists from a roof beam gave a low moan, then a ragged cough. His head fell down on his chest. He was a tall man, well-muscled, if rather the worse for wear. Abruptly, Sevanna realized that his chest no longer moved.
Fuck.
The gem-studded rings on her fingers glittered red and green as she gestured curtly to Riala.
Don't you hate when you accidentally kill someone?
And
it's a real day ruiner.
Riala's like, oh, fuck, we killed the prisoner by accident. Shit.
If I had a nickel.
Just, you know what? If I had a nickel for how many times someone has accidentally killed a prisoner in these books, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it is funny that it's happened twice.
It's interesting that it's happened twice.
Specifically while they were hanging suspended.
It's true. Is this a kink? Someone tell us. Nope, don't tell us. But, someone's like, oh, I was really excited to tell you. Like, the other day I stumbled upon a spider that I didn't know was there. It was a huge black spider. Like quarter-sized. Big boy. Well, probably canonically a girl. But, I couldn't kill it because I felt like it was like hanging out in your wires. So I thought, well, maybe it's kind of got like a brain for IT. I like Disney-fied it in my head. Like, well, maybe it really is into IT.
Was this in the house?
Yes. And now I don't know where it is.
It's still in the house?
Yes.
So you just were like, oh. And now it's in the house.
I'll pretend they don't see you.
And now it's somewhere in the house.
I probably was like, oh, my bad. I didn't know this was someone's house.
Sure. Okay.
I believe.
So this guy's dead. Who's this guy? This dead guy?
Sean Chan.
He's a Sean Chan. He is. And they kicked the shit out of him. And they're like, well, apparently they took a city that's 2 days west of here. We should recap that. Just in case Perrin didn't go over it thoroughly enough last chapter, let's reiterate. The Sean Chan are moving east.
You're telling me the Sean Chan are moving east?
Now, admittedly, I'm being an asshole. It does mean they are continuing their offensive rather than doing what they did when they got beat the fuck off in book 2, which was sit on their ass until apparently now.
Yeah, I like it when people do stuff.
Yeah, they are.
That is important to me.
Would you say they are sort of blitzing across the South?
Blitzing? Yeah. Well, they run really fast, right? So, yes.
No, that's the Aiel.
Oh, shut up. Yeah, yes, because they got flying stuff.
Right, yeah. And I guess this isn't really evidence that they're moving, because we're talking about Amador, but still, like, it's good evidence that they're doing something.
Yes.
So that's cool. And they're like, well, maybe we probably shouldn't talk about this too much. Don't want to freak anybody out. Anyway.
Definitely don't.
And the wise ones are like, well, I'm kind of freaked out. And Sevanna's like, yeah, but tits.
She's got a point.
Yeah. 2 points.
She just got Madonna.
Kind of in my head, yeah. So they just kind of like stand off for a while. And they're like, hey, Kadar's dickhead. And also we're spread all across the fucking continent. And also the Shanshan. And also we are no longer so concerned about the whole Desane thing. Fuck that. Does anything really happen in this bit? I mean, there's tension, right?
Well, okay. I feel like Sevanna's getting a comeuppance.
Yeah. I should clarify. Does anything imminently happen?
No.
Versus,
but
what appears to be on the horizon?
It continues to be like one of those things where it's like they did stuff ominously. Mm-hmm. But I feel like in this case, we're going to see Sevanna get her just deserts. Or, as the IU call them, just deserts.
I would go into more detail about this, but I don't know. I don't really...
Well, it seems as though the women have decided they've had just about enough of her shenanigans.
Yeah, and they're gonna bury this Shanshan guy.
And she's like, we can't tell anyone about him.
They're worried about the channelers fighting for the Shanshan, understandably.
I worry about that as well. I think we all should be very, very concerned.
And then a guy comes up and he's like, hey, I'm Kinwin.
He's a guy named Shane.
No, he's not. He's a Meriden. He's a brotherless. Remember the Meriden?
Yeah, but his name also just happens to be Shane.
That'd be funny. And he's like, hey, we need you to rule on something.
Oh, I forget what it was.
I don't think we learn.
Oh, okay.
We don't find out.
Robert! Why?
Yeah. And then we switch to Galina. So, like, yeah, the first part, it shows us where Sevanna's going, right? Kind of. And it is a lot of ominously-ing.
Well, I think she's fucked.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Yeah.
Any more
she
thoughts
shat
on
her
that?
last bed, man.
So we switch to Galina. How's she?
She's also fucked.
Terrible. She's having a terrible time.
It is a bad day if you're a terrible person.
Yeah, she's feeling
God,
bad.
let's round it out. Number 3, Elida. Let's give her a bad day too.
Also
I
bad.
want everyone to have a bad day. Everyone I don't like. Manifest.
They're roasting her. She's in a sack, and they've got the sack on coals, and it's hot, and she hates it. And of course she's naked, because, you know.
Because, why?
She's in a sack, but she's naked, because, you know.
Well,
and,
if I know anything about being suspended in a sack, you gotta be naked.
And Sevanna's here, and she's like, what a little wimpy fuck.
All right, let's switch places. Let's see how you feel about it. How about that? Yeah. How about that? How about you come in here, strip off all that nice stuff, get in the sack, and see if you like being suspended over coals.
Galina keeps thinking about, like, I'm going to make them drown in blood, and it's going to be awesome, and fuck them. And then they bring her down off the sack. And,
oh, yeah. And then she's got the oath rod.
Yeah.
And she's like, swear on this oath rod you won't make us bathe in blood or whatever the fuck it is that you were thinking.
I believe you are stronger than this, but perhaps Belinda is right. Perhaps you are soft enough now. If you swear to obey me, you can stop being the Tsang. Perhaps you will not even have to be Guy Shine. Will you swear to obey me in all things? And Galina's like, well, fuck yeah, sure, totally. We're good. On board. 100%. Haha, I'm lying. I had my fingers crossed. You. And then Sevanna's like, okay, good. Do it again. Hold this. And she whips out a thick white rod.
The no take backsy rod.
Then you will not object to swearing your oath on this. And Galina's like, what the dick is this dick? Fuck.
Wait, hold on. There's got to be some wordplay in here. Oh, I can't find it. No.
What are you going for?
It's got to be something with dildo. Like the truth dildo. No, but there was something. There's got to be some wordplay in here. I'll find it. Keep going.
She saw the flowing marks carved into the end toward her, numerals used in the Age of Legends, 111. She had thought it was the oath rod, somehow stolen from the White Tower. That also was marked, but with the numeral 3, which some thought stood for the 3 oaths. Maybe this was not what it seemed. Thoughts?
So it's got the same markings?
The other one said 3. This one says 111.
There's just 111 oath rods out there?
I think they just have a shitload. I think most of them are probably lost.
Well, I wonder if they maybe made one for each prisoner or something.
That would be a lot of work.
Well, okay.
But maybe, I mean...
I guess we're just shutting down our first-time reader wife
not
today.
the intention. I wonder if they had, one for each prison.
That could be.
Or each courtroom.
That would probably make more sense.
Like each courthouse.
Well, yeah, because Gus and I were talking to a friend of the family's who's a gynecologist, and she says she's tired of having to continue to search for speculums.
Oh, what? I forgot this.
Yeah. Okay. So she's a gynecologist, and she was like, I keep having to go to other rooms to find the equipment we need because we don't have enough for each room. Right? Because she's a gynecologist in Alaska. I know, it's super cool.
Oh, right, yes.
So I imagine it would be really annoying if you're sentencing someone and you've got the oath rod and you're like, oh fuck, hold on, let me go to the other courtroom and get it.
That's
you know
funny.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh fuck. And then of course they're not that big, so you would misplace them. You'd shove them in a drawer somewhere when you weren't using it, and you'd be like, oh shit, where'd the ceremonial oath rod go? Ah, fuck.
So the wise ones come in at the same time, and they're like, oh, hey, Sevanna, cool. You're gonna have her swear fealty to you. Great.
And only you.
When were you gonna let us know?
It is kind of shitty. Methinks it's shittiness afoot.
Sevanna goes, it seems you rendered justice quickly. And the wise ones are like, yeah, whatever, we kicked the shit out of the brotherless. Fuck them, it's good. Anyway, and then Tharava walks up. In one swift step, she reached Galina, gripped a handful of her hair, and jerked her up to her knees, bent her head back.
Here's my thing. It's unnecessary.
It's unnecessary. Tharava was not the tallest of these women by at least a head, yet she loomed taller than most men, staring down with a hawk's eyes, driving away every thought of revenge or defiance. And it's the fact that, he decided in his head, oh, this is kinky. It's like, well,
if you're into it.
If you're into it, but they're not.
No. Here's my thing. Here's my fear. I fear that he is going to continue to make being captive kinky just in time for us to have more gays and Fayu be kidnapped by the Shido.
Oh, God, that would be awful. Ugh.
You have not assuaged my fears.
I'm not going to tell you if that happens or not, but I'm just saying that would be terrible.
I'm telling you right now, I will sit here and ring a little bell and go, shame, shame, shame.
Galina thinks about how terrified she is of Tharava. She had daydreamed about breaking every one of these women, making them plead for death, laughing as she denied their begging, about everyone except Tharava. At night, Tharava filled her dreams, and all Galina could do was try to flee. The only escape was to wake screaming. Galina had broken...
making her veg Tharaba.
God. Strong men and strong women, but she stared up at Tharava wide-eyed and whined. She goes, this one has no honor to shame. If you want her broken, Sevanna, let me have her. When I am done, she will obey without the need for your friend Kadar's toy. And she's like, let's talk about this. And so they talk back and forth, and Galina's like, okay, they've mentioned these traveling boxes things. I gotta get my hands on one, which is hilarious when you know that they're actually bullshit.
Fake. Total bullshit.
You named it a dumbass cube, Samael? Yeah, it's fucking funny.
You named it an eat farts cube.
You named it a pee-pee poo-poo box.
You won. That was funny.
I miss Samael. I really do.
Samael was the funniest living Forsaken. It's really a shame he went out the way that he did. How did he go out? My memory's a little foggy.
So then
Beep, boop, boop, bog. God damn it.
Galina goes for
You're so fucking funny. I'm mad.
Galina goes for the oath rod, and then Tharava stomps on it, and
What?
to keep her from grabbing it, and goes, "If she is to swear, it should be to obey all of us here." And Sevanna's like, "Okay, very well, but me first among us. I am not only a wise one, I speak as the clan chief." Tharava goes, "So you do. Two among us first, Sevanna. You and I."
Okay. Now, hear me out. Tharava's not hot.
So she swears the oath to protect them, and then she feels the oath hit, and then she starts screaming and crying, and Tharava says, "Be quiet! I do not want to listen to you wailing." And then she stops, because she...
That's real. I don't want to say wailing either. What did I say?
And Tharava goes, "Let us see if this truly works. Have you planned violence against any wise one here?
Obviously.
Answer truthfully, and ask to be punished if you have. The penalty for violence against a wise one can be to be killed like an animal." And Galina goes, I did against all of you. Please punish me for it." And Galina's like, "Oh shit, this is awesome. This is fucking great. Hell yeah, man."
Yeah, I mean, it's great if it's not you.
So she makes her guy shine, tells her she can't channel unless they say she can. They release the shield on her, and Sevanna takes the oath rod back, and Tharava's like, "Hey, we made some." That was a very tiny burp. We made some plans.
Excuse me.
We made some plans. And Savannah's like, "I wasn't there." And they're like, "Well, yeah, fuck you. We decided that just as a clan chief must have a wise one to advise him, so must you have a wise one's advice. I will advise you." And Savannah's like, "Well, fuck." So how do you feel about this growing power struggle between Sevanna and Tharava? Are you here for it?
It's making me Tharava.
Oh my god. How would you feel about the Shido if they were led by Tharava instead of Sevanna?
I'd be cool with it.
I would prefer it.
I prefer it, but I think they'd be more terrifying.
Yeah, which is why I'd prefer it.
Mm-hmm.
So Tharava's like, "Hey, let's get the fuck out of here. Sound good?" And
I think we're all going to be bottomed quite thoroughly.
And Savannah's like, "Yeah, all right." I'm not uhing the concept. I'm uhing it because he's...
It's like your grandpa saying bottom. You're like, "Grandpa, please. Enough." Like if a grandpa turned to you and was like, "Which one of you is the bottom?" Like you'd be like, "Grandpa, enough. Like, stop trying to bond with me like this."
So they decide they're going to go east.
And he's like, I read some literature.
Tharava proposes north. Sevanna says east. And Tharava's like, "Oh, you better watch it."
I think the compromise is northeast.
And then all of a sudden, it's snowing a little bit.
Yay! We solved global warming.
And the wise ones are like, "What the fuck?" Because they've never seen snow.
They've never seen it. And then they are like, "This is it? This is snow? No, these wetlanders ain't seen shit." And then I'm like, laughs in, "We were just in Michigan and there was a blizzard."
There was. Tharava goes, "What is this, Galina husband? Speak if you know. I always thought the men who ran down Lemon Tree Killer lied about snow. This could not hamper a mouse." And she's like, "Well, yeah, anyway."
It's not that intense yet.
Sevanna,
it's only the beginning.
Sevanna's gonna put put Galina in white. They kind of headbutted each other again. And Galina has a terrible time. There had to be a way out. A hasty glance back through the trees showed Sevanna still standing there, glaring after them. Overhead, the clouds swirled, and the falling snow melted like Galina's hopes.
Oh.
And that's the end of chapter...
And Robert Jordan was like, "Fuck yeah."
11.
Everyone who's a writer knows that feeling of like, "Fuck yeah, that's how I'm gonna end it." And you gotta like have a fake cigar because you're like, look at me writing. I'm like Ernest Hemingway.
12, Allie.
Yeah.
New alliances. This is the logo. What is it?
A snake.
The Forsnaken.
The Forsnaken.
Do you have notes?
Yes, but not very many. My notes are as follows. So Lanfear's still alive.
Well,
But, no. You shut your lying ass mouth.
I didn't say anything. I said...
You have a mouth that's a butthole of lies.
I said, well...
No, everything that comes out of your mouth is a butthole of lies.
Why do you... Well, just explain what your thought process is. Sindane is Lanfear?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Is she still
so
alive?
So Asmodean's dead.
Well,
Yes.
he might be.
No. So Moraine did succeed in killing Lanfear,
Okay.
but she got taken by the Finn.
Do you think she just, like, Kratos'd her head off on the other side of the gateway while the Finns, like, watched and hooted and hollered?
No, I think she was like killing her as they went through.
Okay.
Why not? She can multitask.
Well, yeah.
You gotta get her while she's in the air. You can't give her a chance to regroup.
Sure.
You gotta tackle her and then stab.
This would not be the first time Warren
Has bodied a Forsaken?
sneak murdered a Forsaken.
No, it'd be the second time. And then everyone's like, well, how would she kill Lanfear? This is how you all sound in my head. No, it's not. They're like, well, how would she kill Lanfear? Lanfear's so much more powerful than Balal. And I'm like, how would I know that?
I don't know if she is.
I don't know. I assume that Robert Jordan was like, the men are more powerful, but the women do prettier magic. Like, I'm assuming it's some shit like
basically
that.
Yes.
Yeah, like, but the women can do like more intricate weaves.
That is actually the...
Shut up. No, it's not.
Yes.
I hate everyone.
It's stupid, and it doesn't ever fucking come into play in any realistic way. Like, maybe you can point to Esoterica, but... Nah.
Because men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Anyways.
Women can also link and men can't. But, like, that's it.
Because women are more social and men... Ah! Okay.
Men are just generally stronger.
General squawking.
I think Lanfear is top strength for women.
Okay, so how does that match with Balal then?
I don't have the thing. Balal is probably a little bit weaker than Lanfear.
Okay, so I'm saying it's possible. And also, her name was Last Chance.
Sindane?
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, it would make sense for this to be Lanfear.
They took a Jackie and they made her a Marilyn.
It would make sense for this to be Lanfear because she is holding Saidar. Do we know how strong she is? Sindane?
Very. She like the point where she was like, "Damn, where'd you get her? I feel threatened." That's what Grendel said. Damn, that girl's got tits and tats.
She is actually pretty. Yeah, she is stronger than Grendel, so that's a good indicator. Okay, it's probably Lanfear.
Oh, it's Lanfear.
Yeah. Do you have more notes?
You all stop with your talking.
How do you feel about this? It's pretty solidly nailing shut Asmodean's coffin.
And Deshiva's what's his face? I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that Asmodean is dead forever. Here's the thing. Someone had to die and stay dead. And I get that. Like, people, but it seemed like he got cut off in the middle of his arc.
Yeah.
You know? It also seems like Samael kind of got cut off in the middle of his arc.
Are you saying he came up short?
Oh. A fitting end for our short king, Samael.
Yes. The very one.
Olive 112 by the end.
Do you have more notes?
Yeah. No, I just wrote that one note.
Well, Lanfear's alive.
Lanfear's alive. We be subjugating some more bees.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Alana seems to be experiencing some buyer's remorse.
Oh, yeah.
What a shame.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Thoughts and prayers.
Yes, yeah, well, bummer.
Prayer circles. We don't give a fuck. Okay. Looks like one of Cad's hair things is some kind of ongriel.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, the whole thing is, actually. It's a bunch, I can tell you this, it's a bunch of ter'angreal.
Oh, she's got butterfly clip ter'angreal. She's so hip.
All right, Chapter 12, New Alliances, starts out as a Grendel chap. Grendel wished there had been even a simple transcriber among the things she had removed from Ilion after Samael's death. This age was frightful usually, primitive and uncomfortable. Still, some of it suited her. In a large bamboo cage at the far end of the room, 100 brightly plumaged birds sang melodiously, almost as beautiful in their multicolored flitting as her two pets in transparent robes, who waited on either side of the door, their gazes locked on her, eager to serve her pleasure. If oil lamps did not give the same light as glow bulbs, aided by large mirrors on the walls, they produced a certain barbaric splendor with the gilded fish-scale ceiling. So she's writing a letter. Who's the letter to?
She's writing a letter to starts with an R.
It does not.
No? I don't fucking know that.
Lord Ituralda.
Oh, but his first name starts with an R. Robald.
Only
something.
because you've seen his name before, yes.
Is it Robald?
It is Rodell.
Oh, it's so close.
But that doesn't
okay,
matter.
so.
Do you know who this guy is? I think you've heard his name
One of the
once.
great captains.
Yes.
He's a Captain Crunch.
This is a great captain that she's writing a letter to. We don't know what's in it. God knows if we will ever find out what's in it.
I bet we don't.
She writes this letter and
It's at a point where I'm like, we will never find out. We'll never do anything. It'll be ominous omelets forever.
Take this to Lord Ituralda with all speed, and say only what I told you. And the guy's like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, I'll get it to him in 4 books.
I received this from the Lady Tuva, who died of her wounds after telling me that she was a courier from Al-Salam and had been attacked by a gray man.
Okay, I don't need you to editorialize.
Sure, yeah, whatever. Fuck you. That's good. Only a touch of compulsion had been needed to make Nazran nearly as avid to obey as they, as the pets. Not to mention certain that he might yet taste her charms again. What?
Again?
She's gonna compulse him more.
Oh, I thought he meant, he was...
Oh, no, she did. She is talking about...
I thought they were stupping.
Well, he believed he had tasted them. Just a little prettier, and he might have. Of course, he would have been useless for anything else then.
So she turns her little pets into, like, sex toys?
It's not good. It's not great. She is a bad guy.
I'm just gonna... I have a little blank. If anyone wants to picture what I look like right now, I've got a little blankie, and I've got my back support crap, and I'm just...
She's just kind of burrowing into the blanket.
I'm just gonna burrow myself away from the badness. Continue.
If that message, delivered by Al-Salam's close cousin, supposedly coming from the king himself, and with grey men trying to stop it, did not satisfy the great lord's command to increase chaos, nothing would, short of balefire. And it would serve her own ends very nicely as well. Her own ends. And so she's got an Angriel now, just does. That's cool.
Woof.
Samael had one, she took it. She thinks the Ashaman are kind of funny.
Non-binary Angriel.
And then the gateway, here we go, gateway. Gateway happens, and here come Megiddian and the other one.
Lanfear.
Sindane.
I see that you took a very special care not to say Lanfear.
And
was that not the specialist
Grendel,
of care that he took not to say Lanfear?
Grendel is
Look how much he tried to say it.
Who else would it realistically be if it's not somebody new?
It's Lanfear.
It might be someone new.
Gus.
This only book 8. You think we're not going to introduce more random new fucking characters?
You think that we're going to introduce new fucking Forsaken?
I don't know, maybe.
There's only like 8 of them, or not 13, or somewhere in between that amount and that amount.
Megiddian's companion, a short young woman with long...
Samael's triggered.
With long silver hair and vivid blue eyes, stared about her coldly, hardly more than glancing in Grendel's direction. By her demeanor, she might have been a prime counselor forced to endure the company of common laborers and intent on ignoring their existence.
Whose attitude does that sound like to you?
A foolish girl to imitate the spider. Red and black did not suit her coloring, and she should have made better use of such an impressive bosom. Thanks, Jim. Although Grendel would do that, they'd think that. Megiddian goes,
yeah, but when it's all like...
I know.
Either they're like, shame on your bosom, or show more cleave.
She goes, this is Sindane, Grendel. We are working together. And Grendel's like, fucking last chance? What kind of bullshit-ass name is that? You seem like a chump. Grendel goes, what brings you and your friend, Megiddian?
I'm a chump. People like to hump.
Have no fear of speaking in front of my servants. And Sindane goes, what interest can you find in them when you destroy anything that might make them interesting? Do you know that Samael's dead?
Yeah, I got all of his stuff.
No, actually, she did. Did she know?
She got all of his stuff. She got the Angriel, and she must have known.
She's like, huh, this lady is weird. I suspected.
Yeah.
He used to visit me, importuning my help in one mad plan or another. I never rejected him outright. You know Samael was a dangerous man to reject. He appeared every few days without fail, and when he stopped, I assumed something dire had happened to him.
See, she's been playing the middle ground. She's the floater in Survivor.
Who is this girl, Megiddian? A remarkable find. And Sindane walks up to her and goes, she told you my name. That's all you need to know. Have you paid attention to the weather, Grendel? So they talk, they catch up.
They talk about how Daddy Dark One's not going to be happy because the girls found the Toke Bowl.
Grendel goes, I do not suppose you came to tell me of Samael's death, Megiddian? Because she's like, why is Sindane doing all the talking? Or to talk about weather. You know I seldom go outside, so Grendel's a fucking mood. What do you want? And Sindane is like, no. Don't talk to her. Talk to me.
Why? I wonder.
I'm in charge here.
Is she the point person on this whole mission?
Megiddian is in a bad odor with Moradin for her recent mistakes. And then they both do the thing, because presumably Moradin brushed the mine traps.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is where you went, God damn it, on the plane.
I was like, oh, fuck. Well, no, the minute she showed up, I was like, all right, this is Lanfear, but then that confirmed it for me. I was like, all right, well, Asmodean's dead. So much for that theory.
And then this part happens. Grendel goes, since you lead, child, tell me, when this man who calls himself Death is in his skin, who is he? What is he? And Sindane goes,
Ishamael.
Moradin is nameless.
Duh.
So remember when you were like, you can't name a nameless.
Yeah, but then I reneged on that and said Moradin's nameless.
Yeah, so Moradin's nameless, Allie. Good job.
That's going to mean that they're going to really need to subjugate everybody else because they got no more carrot.
Yeah.
Which they basically do immediately to Grendel, like right away.
Yep. Grendel's like, this seems like bullshit. Who the fuck is this dude? Sounds like trash to me. I'm not in on this. What a bunch of garbage. You're full of shit. Maybe you should leave. And then she compulses them. There's like this very momentary power battle, and then Grendel gets these like compulsion webs on their heads. Mm-hmm. Which is pretty cool.
She hypnotizes them.
I'm kind of impressed she was able to do this.
I told you, they underestimate her.
Yeah.
I said, did I not say in my like Brown Aja-esque like lengthy discussion about what each of the Forsaken are up to, did I not say that they are underestimating Grendel to their peril? She has been practicing compelling people on her pets, right? And then she gets bored and she breaks them, but you don't think that she spends time trying to figure out how to do it well on more and more powerful people?
So she does this.
You don't think that she might eventually turn around and go, I'm compelling all of you?
Yeah. So she does this and is like, all right, enough bullshit. What's actually happening? And Megiddian is like, we are telling the truth. This is actually what's happening. You need to fucking work for Nabes or else you're fucked. Mm-hmm. And Grendel's like, what?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
the great lord thought you might not take their word, Grendel. The time when you could go your own way has passed.
But I could go my own way. Go my own way.
Who is it, Al?
Shidar Hardon.
Here he is. It's your boy. And here he is.
Being a creep.
And she's like, what the fuck is this now? I just got out from Samael's bullshit. Now what the hell is this? We got to run around.
We can't let women be independent.
We got to run around and infight for 4 books, and now Dad woke up and started kicking the shit out of the doors. What is this?
Yeah. It's the equivalent of Dad suddenly realized all the kids are fighting. So it's like, none of you have bedroom doors. You know how, like, sometimes, like, in the early 2000s, that was, like, a punishment for some people? They were like, I confiscated my teenager's door. And you're like...
What?
You never heard about people doing that?
No.
Oh, they would, like, confiscate your door. And I'm like, that's horrible. Anyway, so that's what the Dark One's doing.
Kinda, yeah.
He goes, I am Shidar Haran. When I speak, you may consider that you hear the voice of the great Lord of the Dark. I am his hand in this world, Grenlaw. When you stand before me, you stand before him.
She's like, and then he, like, crunches one of her pets. She's like, well, you didn't have to do that.
He really didn't. That was not very necessary.
She goes, all right, sure. Okay, great. Yeah, whatever you want, boss. You want me to call you boss? Or dad? Or, like...
Papa?
Terry. And, like, you don't want me to call you dad? I can call you Terry for now.
What
like,
about
where are we going
Shiny?
with this?
This shy monster.
And then he gives her a bunch of orders. He says things we don't hear most of. But visiting Moradin is first, of course.
Well, I'm worried they're gonna Katsuva her. I'm worried they're gonna Katsuva all of them. Because now there's a Nablus. There's no carrot.
And then
where's the carrot?
True to form, Grendel is like, I'm not gonna tell him about the letter I sent to Rodel Ituralda. That's my plan. We'll see if anything ever happens with it.
Book 12. It will pop up. They'll be like, remember that letter to Rodel Ituralda? And I'll be like, no.
Oh, boy. Moradin, whoever he was, might be nameless today, but there was always tomorrow. Cool. Yeah. Anyway, hey, let's real quick do an ad. So we switch perspective. We're with Cadsuane. How's she?
Cadsuane is always unhappy.
Yes.
Which, relatable.
Cadsuane feels like she always just got woken up from a nap.
Yeah.
Right? She's just always a little bit like, God fucking damn it.
You know, I feel like Cadsuane... I think the reason that I relate to Cadsuane is, have you ever won over a really grumpy woman? Like a really grumpy older woman.
I think so.
Like, have you ever I think there's a special thing with young women and older women where you're a young woman and you kind of win over a grumpy older woman and she kind of takes you under her wing. Yeah. I love grumpy older women.
Yeah.
First of all, they have a right to be grumpy. The world is crazy.
Yeah.
Not crazy. Unfair and horrid sometimes. And so they have a right to be grumpy. And when I feel like when I win over grumpy people, I've won some kind of prize.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Cadsuane is always a little bit grumpy, always a little bit post-nap. And I love that for her. I love her energy.
She's in Kyrian. She's in a coach owned by Erilyn, who I'm sure we've met before. I just can't remember right now. We get a lot of description. She's talking to Daigian.
Daigian?
Who is another Aes Sedai.
That was a name choice that someone made for her.
Daigian says...
Who looks at a baby and is like, Daigian?
If you accept that the lingering heat was the Dark One's work, the change must be by some other agency. He would not have relented. You might say that he has decided to freeze or drown the world instead of baking it, but why? Had the heat continued through spring, the dead might well have outnumbered the living. No different than if snow falls into the summer. Therefore, logically,
Some other hand is at work. And Chimera is like, oh my god, shut the fuck up with your logic, you fucking white Aja piece of shit. I'm so tired of this bullshit-ass logic. It's correct and I hate it. She goes, who the fuck cares? She says, it's not hot anymore. Who the fuck cares?
See, I relate to that. I relate to that a lot. Like, I don't know why, but when someone just explains something that I don't give a shit about didactically, it's like the worst experience when you have ADHD, because you're just like, I don't care. It's good. It's good. We don't have to analyze.
Is this why you hate it when I explain board game rules?
Okay, because here's the thing about me with board games is when you have an auditory processing disorder and someone just monologues at you for a long time, you're going to get about half of that at most.
Even when I demonstrate?
The demonstrations help. You do visual cues, which is great, but I am a learner by doing, which I know stresses you out quite a lot.
Sure.
So I have to play the game. I have to actually actively move the pieces myself and go. So I'm always just kind of like, yep, I will absorb what I absorb of this monologue, which is fine. And usually I absorb about 50%.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm like, and then I will gain the rest as I play.
Sure.
And honestly, I feel like that's not untrue for a lot of people. But at the same time, you are very compassionate and good at explaining when it comes to board games.
Very kind. So Chimera is like, put your mind to what we can do about the sisters held by the Aiel. I know you'll reason out something if anyone can. And Cadsuane goes, fuck them. She says, they deserve whatever happens to them. Because they fucked up with Rand.
Because they lost Galina? Was it not Galina, the other one? Katarina?
No, she's talking about...
No, because they lost one of the...
Yeah, Galina ran off. Katarina also ran off.
I thought Galina was with the Shido, though.
Yes, she is.
Okay, but Katarina ran off.
Katarina ran
off for good.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so they fucked up. But they also fucked up...
Well, that's not their fault. That's the Aiel let them go.
No,
and
I'm
she
saying
doesn't know
that's what the Aiel fucked up. Or is that later in this chapter?
That's later.
Okay.
Right now, Cadsuane is talking to these Aes Sedai like, can we maybe do something about the fact that a bunch of Aes Sedai are essentially prisoners of the Aiel? And Cadsuane is like, I don't give a fuck.
Oh, she was saying fuck that. Okay, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, it's like, I don't give a fuck about that. Fuck them. They fucked up. Fuck them.
Honestly, preach, Cadsuane. They deserve what's happening to them.
Even the ones who came to rescue Rand, because we're also talking about them. I think.
No, I thought we were
Are
talking
we only
about the
talking
one specifically being spanked by the Aiel.
Yeah, okay, sure, yeah, I think so.
Here's my thing. I'm not a person that's like violence.
No, she says she had not been allowed near the Aiel tents herself, nor had any of her companions, but some of the fools who had sworn fealty to the Althor boy had ventured out to the sprawling encampment and come back white-faced and torn between outrage and sicking up. Normally, she also would have been furious over the affront to Aes Sedai dignity, whatever the circumstances. Not now. To achieve her goal, she would have run the entire White Tower through the streets naked. Thanks, Rob.
But no, they have specifically the Aes Sedai who swore fealty to Rand, who beat him up in a box. They were like, well, those are ours. They're our prisoners. We're going to do what we feel like is justified for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't advocate for violence. I'm not a violence person. But at the same time, fuck them.
Fuck them.
This is what happens when you're a shithead.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, don't be a shithead.
So they get to the palace, and Cadsuane pokes all of her little hair ornaments to make sure they're all still there, which...
I love that she wears an angreal in her hair.
Well, it's not an angreal necessarily. It's a terangreal. And you don't know what it does. Do you?
No.
All right.
Is it one of the listeny things like
we'll
Moraine's?
Have to read and find out.
Is it a listeny one?
It's got about 10 ornaments on it.
So it's a...
So it might be a few things.
So it's okay. So if Moraine has a little AirPod...
she didn't have a listening angreal. Or she
I
didn't
thought her little Kasuvra.
It wasn't a terangreal.
Not Kasuvra. What the...
Kassane.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
they're
I know.
the same.
I know.
Kassane,
Kasuvra, and what's
Cadensor.
the headband? The headband is called...
Everyone's gonna
God
yell.
damn it. Fuck. What the fuck is the headband called?
This is what's terrifying, is that we have a podcast that is listened to by people who really love these books and have read them many, many times. And Gus has only read them like once.
I have read them 1.5 times.
And I've read them all of 0 times. So
Hadori. It's called Hadori.
But that's not the same as like Cad and Sword.
I'm just thinking of thing. What are you
like so
yelling at? Oh, Gus, that's a terrible example, you dunce. What is this?
It is a terrible example, you dunce.
Oh, boy. So they go into the Sun Palace. There's some Aes Sedai there. Cad Swain's like, fuck them.
Honestly, fuck them.
And Cad Swain looks at them after about a page and a half and goes, I hardly expected to find you strolling about at your ease. I thought the Aiel worked their apprentices hard. And Bera goes, most of us were given a free day because of the rain. So that's great.
Okay, so they're Los Angelinos. Because I swear to God, living in Los Angeles, we've had horrible rain. And, like, it's been really horrible. You realize that, like, all of our houses are made out of tissue paper because it never rains here, right? So it's been really bad. And, but anytime there's rain in Los Angeles, I anticipate that my Zoom calls, there will be at least one Zoom call that day that gets canceled. A Zoom call. Oh, yeah. Every time it rains, someone cancels their Zoom.
I mean, these are people in Los Angeles where, like, we had rain, but we didn't have disasters like they had in NorCal.
No, I'm saying, like, if it's drizzling, I'm like, someone's going to cancel a Zoom meeting that they have with me today. Which, like, protect your mental health how you protect your mental health. But, what is going on?
Bera, by the way, is a Saladar Aes Sedai. So they were talking about all of them. And Cad Swain said, fuck all of them. I don't give a shit. But
Saladar Aes Sedai is being imprisoned by the Aiel?
Okay, so when Rand did Demise Wells, he made all of the Aes Sedai swear fealty.
I understand.
He put all of the Aes Sedai under the care of the Wise Ones. They are treating some of them worse than others.
Well, yeah. Well, okay, so this is what's happening, right? Let me break it down for you because you need it broken down.
All
I
right.
don't know. No, but for those listening, can I break it down?
Please.
Or do you want to break it
No, go.
So here's what happened, in my perspective, from what I'm hearing, is that Rand made them all swear fealty, right?
Yeah.
And then the Aiel were like, we're going to take them over and deal with them how we see fit, right?
Well, because Taim and the Aiel were both like, we'll take them.
Well, and I feel like the right decision was the Aiel
Yeah, and
because I
Rand
felt
was
like Taim was going to like pop their little brains.
And this is also like the whole source of the argument. This is, we should clarify. This has been like a major subplot in the books of what are we going to do with the captured Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
But it never really is surface or front of mind. So I don't think we've really talked about it that much.
No.
Because like in the context of the books, it's just a bunch of people wringing their hands and like Perrin going like, I'll punch the shit out of you. But nobody's really done anything.
Well, because here's what's happening. What's happening. So if we remember back to when Egwene was with the Wise Ones, right?
Yeah.
They took her under their wing as an apprentice.
Yes.
Right? Because they were like, you don't know things that we know about the world, right?
Yes.
Like, because they all know magic, right? But it's different culture magic.
Well, they're specialized differently.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, and I was saying the other day, I was kind of like, I feel like Robert Jordan is kind of circling around in this funny way, like some kind of statement about education. Like, I don't know if it's intentional, maybe, but like, if you think about the kin, like, I read this quote one time where it was like, if you tell a fish, I think it was a fish, that their intelligence is based on their ability to fly, they're going to live their whole life thinking they're stupid and useless.
Yeah.
Right? But the fish can swim and the bird can't.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like about meeting people where their intelligence is and what their intelligence is.
I mean, what is a term that is often used for academics who are so enthralled with their loftiness that they are basically totally apart from the world? What is the term that is used in the common vernacular for that?
I don't know. What is it?
Ivory tower.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and the tower is a white tower.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting because I I feel like, and you've got your like, they obviously give them each specialties, but they center who they think they deem worthy of like the education that they receive. It's based on kind of like power level and their age and how quickly they're able to, like, it's very specific parameters that they're giving for being able to teach these people. The wise ones, it's like, can you channel yes or no?
Not even that.
Not even that. Like, you're in if
you're mature and generally cool.
If you seem like a good leader or you can channel, you're a wise one.
Yeah.
Right? No matter what your power level is.
You don't have to be able to channel to be a wise one.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But if you can channel, you're
going to be a wise one. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You like are immediately conscripted.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is what happened to Avienda.
Yes. And that's why she was super unhappy, because she wanted to be a maiden of the spear, but like tough tits, life happens. So they take everybody. And then they're surprised by how powerful some of the members of the wise ones are. Right. But they're able to kind of like, and the same thing with the kin, they take kind of the rejects of the tower, right? Who like, if they lived their whole lives, thinking that they failed, these specific parameters of what the White Tower wants, like that could be a lot of wasted potential. But we find out that all of them, even if they aren't as powerful, like they might have abilities and talents that make them really useful, like at times like these.
Yeah.
Right? Like, just because you're not a Harvard professor doesn't mean that you're a piece of shit, just because like maybe you are really into cars and you like understand the mechanics of cars. And like, we need people like that and that kind of intelligence. Like, you need a varied amount of intelligence and talent to make a society work. And it's about like meeting people where they're at in an ideal world, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And educating people with in conjunction with what their talents and interests are, right? And as an ADHD, neurodivergent person, like I was very lucky to be in a school that really specialized in helping kids who are neurodivergent find, achieve the same potential. But like, I have to work twice as hard as everybody else to like maintain that same level of output.
Sure.
But but you see like the kin, like this one gal can stretch her shield super far. Like those things are useful. And like the Aes Sedai, in having these incredibly strict parameters for who they accept, are actually, I think, hurting themselves in the long run.
Oh, 100%. Well, consider also, they're like, why don't we have any Aes Sedai? And it's like, well, you have what? 2,800 fucking you rejected?
Yeah. And they don't actively go out and recruit. They're
Not
they'll
really.
just come to us, even though their reputations
They kind
and
of do, but not enough.
kind of, but like, I mean, there are people everywhere. And then they just discriminate against them and call them Wilders and go, well, they're a lost cause.
Yeah.
Not so with the kin. Not so with the Aiel. They take everybody. Not so with the with the sea folk that we've seen so far. They accept pretty much everybody. And they're like, here's this one talent that we really want to nourish.
Because it's necessary.
For our survival, like dream stuff too. But like, I anticipate that like if they had talents elsewhere too, they would be like, yeah, that's useful. Like Avienda's ability to blast fire.
Yeah.
Or like untangle weave. I mean, like
they can all do that.
Yeah,
they
and
teach
that's
everybody how to do that.
Freaking useful. And so I'm like, the fact that they haven't been open to other cultural practices, the fact that they haven't been willing to meet these people where they're at, whether it's because of their age or because of their power level, like they've really missed out on a lot of really interesting abilities. Which it seems like Varen has gone out and actively sought, but it doesn't seem like the rest of the White Tower gives a shit very much about like what people can do and their talents. And I think it was like kind of an interesting thing where I was like kind of reflecting on how our education system fails people
in the United States
way.
in particular.
In the United States in particular.
Yeah.
Like we are like, this is what intelligence is, right? Academic achievement. And like interest in math, science, literature. But like there's so many different kinds of intelligence in this world, right? Like social intelligence. Like where is the reward for that? Like where is the reward for all these different kinds of intelligence like that we're just dismissing
in
our education system. So I just think that's really interesting. And like, if you're not a kid that can sit in a chair and focus, like suddenly you're a problem.
Yeah.
And like, as a former teacher, like the way that the system is set up is to actively punish those kids.
Yeah.
Because there's no support for teachers to like really reach those kids where they're at. So God bless teachers. They're not paid enough.
So bringing it back to the wise ones, the Aes Sedai who are subservient to wise
happening.
ones.
Sorry.
Yes. Yes.
I went on a long tangent, but here's what's happening. So we've got the wise ones. They're obviously like, I don't know if they're going so far as to Datsang.
They are not.
Yeah, they're not. So they're guy shaming.
Some of them, yes. Most of them, no.
Yeah.
Some of the tower ones are Datsang. We remember that.
Yeah.
The ones that Varen was sumpelling.
Yeah, they're Datsang.
Some of them were Datsang, but the Saladar Aes Sedai are just apprentices that they are, kind of kicking the shit out of.
Well, but they were, I'm not defending this, by the way. Like, I'm not defending corporal punishment for people, but I'm imagining, like, Egwene dealt with some corporal punishment in her apprenticeship, right? And it seems like it was a kind of a forced apprenticeship for these Saladar Aes Sedai.
It was.
Right? So I'm anticipating that, like, unlike Egwene, who views this as like a fun study abroad, they're like, I don't speak Spanish and got sent to Spain. You know what I mean? Like, so they're, not being much more resistant.
What
to
is the difference between a torta and a tostada? And they're like, shut up.
Shut up. Yeah. Well, because we've seen that the Aes Sedai are not exactly like patient about people who don't understand their culture. 1. 2, we've seen that the Aes Sedai are stubborn and really into themselves. So that's going to not make for an ideal apprentice. Like, they're going to be like, go get the tea, go like steam the sweat lodge or whatever, sweat tent, whatever. And they're going to be like hell, I'm an Aes Sedai. So I'm assuming that doesn't go over well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just assuming that part is just a conflict of personality.
Sure.
Which I don't defend, but I'm like, I think they're getting spanked because, they're not being pliant. Right? Versus the other ones, which I feel like are being actively punished as Gaishain or Datsang.
Datsang, not Gaishain. They're different things.
But there's like a line between those things.
No, there's not. They're different. I think you meant like a through line.
No, there's
a dividing line.
A dividing line between like how the Saladar Aes Sedai are being treated and how the
I misunderstood.
Ones who beat the crap out of Rand are being treated.
Yes, okay.
And Cadsuane's just like, fuck them all.
Fuck them all. And also like, fuck them for swearing fealty to him is what she's also like. She's like, fuck them for that.
Well, they
deserve what they get.
They don't really have a choice. So that's a little unfair. But
she's talking about the ones who like went out of their way to reinforce that.
Okay.
Because if we remember from the prologue, there is debate as to whether oaths sworn under duress count. Because you can justify to yourself, I think, like, I didn't have a choice. I had to do that.
Yeah.
So, like, it doesn't
count.
Really count.
Which would be interesting for Galina later, considering Galina had to take an oath under duress.
But she did it on the oath rod.
Oh.
Because the other ones are bound by their oath to speak no word that is not true. Whereas she is straight up bound to the letter of the law of that thing she swore.
That's a problem.
Now...
But she's like, I can undo this, which, again, Black Aja, like, I knew they could.
Do you want to know how you undo oaths?
You say, you grab the oath rod very solemnly,
on the
and you
oath
say,
rod.
psych.
Yes. And it hurts a lot, but you can do
You're like...
Yeah.
Take backsies.
It's not Black Aja specific either. It's just like you can undo oaths by saying on the oath rod that you forswear that oath.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It hurts a lot, but you can do it.
And you go back and you're like, my fingers were crossed.
Never mind.
NVM.
Yeah.
Could you? I just want to see, Rafe, make it happen. I want to see them walk up very solemnly to the oath rod, intense music playing. Just imagine. They're holding it, hopefully not like a dick.
Good luck.
I know, difficult. And they go, take backsies. Like, I want to see it. And then there's like, and they all like, there's like pain, but it was all like because of a take backseat.
So Bira says, I cannot understand why you keep coming back, Cadsuane. Certainly you want something from us, but unless you tell us what it is, we cannot help you. We know what you did for the Lord Dragon, but it's obvious you came to Kyrian because of him, and until you tell us why and what you intend, you must understand that you'll find no aid from us.
Question.
Yeah.
How accessible is the oath rod in the White Tower?
Not.
So whoever is whoever is in charge of that is definitely Black Aja.
Or they have another one.
So, okay, wait. I'm curious. So you can forswear an oath that you made on a different oath rod? Or does it have to be the same oath rod?
Well, that's a good question. I'm pretty sure they're all the same.
Because I feel like that's a really good question. Because if they have to do it on the same oath rod, then whoever is the keeper of that oath rod is definitely Black Aja.
Or compulsed.
Fuck, I forgot about compulsion.
Or they took a nap. I think the tower guards might guard it.
Every time, though?
I think the tower guards might guard it because they're like, who would want to...
Well, that's the other thing is I'm like, is it just not very guarded? Because they're like, who would
I'm not sure,
mess
actually.
with it?
Like, why would you want
Why would you oath for no reason?
Oh, no, you can bind yourself to hold a promise.
So, like, I guess, though, they should guard it because, like, what's to stop a girl from, like, walking in and taking the Aes Sedai oath and being like, I'm Aes Sedai now?
There wouldn't be Aes Sedai. Taking the oaths does not make you Aes Sedai.
I guess, but, like, what if they tried it out of desperation? Like, one of the kin seems like they'd be desperate enough to do a Hail Mary like that.
But what would be the point of... all you're doing then is forcing yourself to follow rules that doesn't give you any status to take the oaths.
Yeah, but you would... Oh.
The oaths
You'd
don't
get
make
the
you Aes
ageless
Sedai.
face, though.
Oh, yeah, but then they'd find out and they would beat the shit out of you.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, like the...
No, but I'm saying, like, if you were super desperate and stupid...
Sure.
You know, say, not Elsie Grinwell, but like, say you're Faelane, right? And they're like, no, you know what? After all this, you're not going to be, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, we sentenced you basically to a life of mediocrity in the minds of the people there, right?
Yeah.
What if you were super desperate?
It's not common knowledge that the oaths are what give you the ageless face because nobody has...
No one's observant?
There are not a lot of channelers out and about that are not tied to the White Tower in the Westlands.
I would just make an assumption, though. If I were like someone who... Sorry, I'm being difficult. I'm going off track. But that's kind of what I do.
Yeah, that's the podcast.
So,
that's the point.
So, I mean, I'm just thinking about it from like a desperate dumbass's perspective. Like, they probably should guard it just on the off chance they have a desperate dumbass.
Okay, but like... You're in a world where everybody who can do magic, their left hand is green. And also, it also, like, one thing that ties into the magic is that they lick a lot of paper. Are you going to assume that licking paper is what turns your hand green, or doing magic? Because they're the only ones who do magic.
Here's my thought, though. If you knew, like, okay, say a wisdom was a wilder and she aged more slowly, but she didn't have the ageless face, I would just make it. You have
to be in a very specific situation to suss that out.
Well, listen, we are reading closely on this podcast. Yeah. And I'm just saying that if I were a dumbass, but also super observant, I would make the assumption.
You'd have to know somebody is a channeler. You'd have to know they're not tied to the White Tower. You'd have to infer that they are older than they look. Presumably, they're not going to talk about that. That you would have to know, by extension, what the oaths are. You would have to know that you yourself could channel. You would have to be rejected from the tower, and then you would have to combine all those pieces together to go, the ageless face
and fuck
comes
you, I'm
going to
be an Aes Sedai anyway.
Then you would have to take the oaths. You'd have to sneak in, take the oaths, just to give yourself the ageless face so you could pretend to be an Aes Sedai for, like, 3 months, publicly.
If I were accepted, I would do it and then just leave.
But word is going to get back to the tower.
Probably.
There are eyes and ears everywhere, and then you would just be spanked. Like, what is the... I realize we're being pedantic.
Maybe I have a kink. I don't know.
All right. So, Bira and Karina...
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like a particular dumbass might do it. Okay, fine. It's not well guarded because who would touch it?
I don't remember, honestly.
I would, just to see. But...
So the Catswing goes, I did not come to see you, though I suppose Chimera and Daigian would enjoy a visit since you have a free day. You'll excuse me. And she goes in.
I think we need to start realizing that the oath rod is actively bad for everyone because it's making them live less long.
They don't know that. They don't have any...
Well, now that they're talking to the kin, I would start to go, oh.
But then the question becomes, is it worth it to shatter the public trust that the oath rod has given? Because the reason for the oaths is...
They don't trust us anyway.
True. Will this help? Hey,
Why am
fuck it.
I'm just like, I've decided I'm not. Yes, just fuck it. Fuck it. There's Black Aja running around anyway. They're not tied to the oaths, so why should we?
That's not public knowledge, and it's not commonly accepted to be
Well,
true.
it's become a problem because it means that if, like, I know that Ispin is a Black Aja, I can't attack her until she attacks me first because I can't attack a sister.
I think there's a caveat for Dark Friends.
But they won't even acknowledge that the Black Aja exists.
Yeah, but because most of them don't really believe that it does.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying these oaths are fucking dumb.
I should say, let me clarify. I don't think there's a caveat for Dark Friends. I think it's like, if there is a Black Aja, you can assume your life is in danger.
Here's why I think we should say fuck the oaths. Okay? Here's why I think universally, like, as the White Tower, and now you're so annoyed with me because we have, like, one chapter left, right?
We have 7 pages.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just want to go
No,
a
it's
quick
okay. Go ahead,
tangent.
go ahead.
Here's why we should say fuck the oaths. 1, the Black Tower doesn't have any fucking oaths, so fuck that.
The Black Tower is still considered to be a renegade organization that needs to be squashed.
And I'm saying...
By the Tower,
fuck
anyway,
it. Like, they don't have rules, neither should we. Match energy. 2, it's actively bad for us and making us, like, die earlier. So all of the, like, you know, good knowledge and shit is dying out before it should.
Not common knowledge yet.
It will be.
Okay.
We got the kin. We can compare notes. Let's see. 3, no one trusts us anyway, even with these stupid fucking oaths, right? No one trusts us anyway. Our PR is terrible, right? So maybe instead of having oaths, we should just go out and do some good deeds, you know? Showcase that we're, you know, do a little PR stunt. Hire a PR firm. Do some PR stunts, you know, kiss some babies, shake some hands.
I do think
create an animal shelter. I don't know. Do some, like, good.
I think it's funny that
Fuck the oaths.
your response to the rules aren't working very well and those guys don't have rules is let anarchy and chaos reign. Are you
Everyone
sure you're
else
not
is.
actually a dark friend? Everybody else is under anarchy and chaos,
Listen,
so I too will eat the seeds and not plant them because I am uncivilized myself and immediate gratification only. Fuck all of you. Fuck civilization.
See,
it's burning down anyway.
This is what happens when a chaotic neutral and a lawful good marry.
You're chaotic good.
You think I'm chaotic good? I think I'm chaotic good.
Why
but,
would
like,
you self-identify as sometimes I do evil things?
Well, sometimes but sometimes I'm like, if I were Satan, this is what I would do. And there's a part of me that's like, I choose good.
That makes you... Never mind. All right.
Well, it's the question of, like, are you born good or do you choose good?
I would argue that good is relative. It's good for who? Good for what? It's all very
It's
gray.
True. It's true.
Anyway.
There's no... What is it? There's no... something consumption under capitalism. Ethical consumption under capitalism.
So she's talking to the Aes Sedai and she's like, hey! Anyway, and so she goes inside. The Aiel are, like, real nice to her. They're, like, nodding at her like, hell yeah, badass. And she goes, she'd never claimed to be responsible for saving their Karakarn, but tales became twisted in retelling, and the belief granted her more respect than any other sister, and certainly more freedom of movement around the palace. She wondered how they would feel if they knew that had she had the boy in front of her right then, she would have been hard-pressed to stop herself from blistering his hide for him. Barely more than a week since he nearly got himself killed, and not only had he managed to elude her completely, he'd made her task even more difficult, if half what she heard was true. A pity he'd not been raised in Farmadding. But then that might have led to its own catastrophe.
Because you're so pliant. Like, what are Farmadding people super pliant? Also, is Farmadding just, like, in every fantasy book that's ever existed? I feel like every fantasy book has, like, a Farmadding.
A far something.
Yeah.
Not madding, necessarily.
I swear to God.
What else has a far madding in it?
I think Lord of the Rings does. I've read the words Farmadding before, and not in these books. I swear.
There is no other Farmadding that I can find anywhere.
I insist that find it for me. There must be. I swear. Or far-hatting, ladding, something. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making this up. I've done it before.
Anyway,
all right. So
Corgade makes a lot. Cadsuane tea. And then she's like, get Alana. I want to talk to Alana. And then she does some embroidery because, and then Alana
Embroidery
comes
rocks. I love that grandma crafts are coming back. I love that.
in. And Cadsuane goes, come in, Alana. Stand there. And Alana does it. And it's like, why the fuck do you keep bothering me? Like, what do you want? How can I help you? Why are you such an asshole?
Here's my thing. I do question the idea that, the thing that pops into your head when you're dealing with a traumatized boy who has been beaten a ton is going, I'm going to beat him some more.
Yeah, I know.
Probably not the best.
Cadsuane goes, I've kept your crime to myself, but only because I saw no reason to complicate matters. If you think that means I won't core you like a cabbage, think again. If you wish to be truly... Because then Alana grabs Sidar. Cadsuane is like, what are you... Are you trying to get the shit kicked out of you? What are you doing? And then she lets, hey, what happened? What's going on? Where's Rand? I want to know where Rand is. What's up? I don't know what's happening. Can you give me information? And Alana's like, nope. And Cadsuane's, all right, well, that sucks. Keep me apprised. Also, fuck you. And Alana's like, you telling me you wouldn't have done that? And Cadsuane is like, what? It's shitty. It was a shitty thing.
Yeah.
You did a shitty thing.
You did a shitty thing.
Like, have I considered forcing you to pass it to me? Yes. Still, you did a shitty thing. It's done now, but you did a shitty thing.
It is a shitty thing, and we should continue to tell her that. You are a shitbag.
So then Alana leaves, or is about to leave, and then all of a sudden, are you done with her, Aes Sedai? And here comes Cerelia.
Okay, first of all,
and you get a bingo square.
Bingo square. Second, this is the meeting that I have been waiting for. I have been waiting for these two to meet because I truly, first of all, she was like, I gotta meet Cerelia. And I was like, please God, make that happen. But second, just I just want to sit in this room and listen to these women talk wisdom back and forth. And I just write everything down. I love old women. I do. I just think as long as they're not racist, I just love them because I'm like, they have been through it. They understand. They're wise as hell. They know what's going on. They've got great advice. I just love them. Like a cool older lady. I saw this older lady the other day. She was biking, which respect. And she had blue hair. And I was just like, yeah, exactly. I would do the same shit. Like it was like bright blue. And I was like, yes. At that point, who gives a shit? Dye your hair fun colors. Do whatever you want.
So Cadsuane is Cadsuane had encountered the woman before, and interesting encounters they'd been, if brief. She'd not met many people she considered formidable, but Cerelia was one, perhaps even a match for herself in some ways. She also suspected the woman was as old as she was, maybe older, and that she'd never expected to find.
See, they're gonna figure it out eventually that the oath rod is causing problems. And I say, fuck the oaths. Anarchy 2023.
So Alana's sprinting down the hall to get away from this, and then Karuna walks in and goes, why is Alana running? I would have been faster, Cerelia, but... And then she sees Cadsuane is like, oh my god. Oh, so much badass old woman energy right now. I'm overwhelmed.
I would be too. I would just sit down and just listen. I wouldn't say a word. Who needs to hear from me in that instance?
Put the tray on the table, girl, and go to Ch11. She will be waiting to give you your lessons.
And Karuna does, and Cerelia goes,
you've begun to make a true effort, girl. If you continue, you will do very well.
Like, if I could just sit in a room and, like, Imelda Staunton and Maggie Smith are just talking about, Dreamcast. Dreamcast.
Now go. Ch11 is not as patient as I.
And they talk, and Cadsuane's like, what's going on with all this fucking... What's the logic behind all this?
Or, I'm sorry, what's the actress who everyone wants to play Cadsuane?
Shore.
I would sit in that room.
Yeah, me too. And it's like, you can't, like, you think they're gonna pick up how you channel? And Cerelia's like, I don't know, maybe. Like, I don't know why the fuck y'all have to do all the bird flappy bullshit when you channel. You don't have to do that. You don't have to move your hands. That's not necessary. It's not a part of it.
See, this is what I'm saying, is like, they just decided their education system was the best education system and just never delved deeper than that.
Yep.
And now they look like idiots.
And Cerelia's like, yeah, I mean, it is really hard to teach them. It's annoying too that like y'all promise to do shit and then immediately start trying to circumvent the promise. No offense, but like that's kind of bullshit.
Well, that's also like against Giotto, right? Like if you make a promise, you do that thing.
Cerelia goes, I do not speak to offend, but you eyes that I give oath, it seems, and immediately try to find a way around it. Alana Mosvani is particularly difficult.
And then she leans forward and goes,
how can we punish her willful failings if it means harming the Karakarn?
And Cad Swain is like, huh, so you know about that. Okay. He goes,
yeah. I wonder how they figured that out.
The bond...
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Because I feel like Alana wouldn't offer that up.
The bond does not work in that fashion. If you kill her, he will die then or soon after. Short of that, he will be aware of what happens to her, but he will not really feel it. As far away as he is now, he'll only be vaguely aware, if that. And Cerelia's like, oh, good, we can beat the shit out of her.
I love that Cat Swain's like, just beat the shit out of her. Like, Rand will know it's happening, but he'll probably be happy about it.
So, what is the gist of this conversation? What do they talk about?
So they say that Rand, what is it, like, it's like slate versus rock or something like that?
Yeah, talking about hardness.
Paper, scissors,
right.
Whatever. So they talk about hardness. So, like, there's hardness that's so hard. It's like being hard versus being tough.
Brittle.
No, not brittle.
Right?
You know, it's like hard versus solid or something like that.
Yeah. Wasn't the concern he's going to be so hard that he will shatter?
Yes.
Yes.
Because it's like, okay, you know, slate is super hard.
Yeah.
But when it comes up against something, it shatters.
Yeah.
Right? Versus like a rock that is super tough. What are the specific words that they use?
Do you believe? Well, hold
stone.
on. Let's.
Oh, it's slate versus stone, I think.
Let's get there. They're like, what are we gonna do about this dude? We got to figure out what to do about. I think we want the same thing. Is basically what they say.
We're worried about our boy Rand.
Yeah.
He seems like he is having some mental health issues. The mental health issues being that he was tortured and put in a box.
Yeah.
So, how do we make sure that he doesn't become hard, but he stays tough, basically?
Great question. Before we answer it, here's a quick ad or two. So, Cerelia says, most men will take what is offered if it seems attractive and pleasant. I tried to get him to marry younger, hotter fucking Rourke, but he didn't. Once we thought of Randall Thor, so unfortunately it is too late to change the path we walk. Now he suspects whatever is offered freely. Now, if I wanted him to accept something, I would pretend I did not want him to have it. If I wanted to stay close with him, I would pretend indifference to whether I ever saw him again. And she looks at Cad Swain like, You picking up what I'm fucking putting down here?
Mm-hmm. They basically are like, we got to teach Rand to cry.
Well, I think
like,
she's also like,
out.
hey, Cads, you seem like you really, really want to stick close to this dude. If I wanted to stick close to this dude, I would be aloof.
Yes. No, I love this team. I love it so much. I want to marry it. I love it so much. It's so good. It's so good.
Cads goes, do you believe a man must be hard or strong?
This is it. Hard or strong.
Most men see the two as one and the same, Cad Swain Milidrin. Strong endures, hard shatters. The boy...
He keeps thinking I ought to be hard.
The boy confuses them, she said. He needs to be strong and makes himself harder. Too hard already, and he'll not stop until he is stopped. He's forgotten how to laugh, except in bitterness. There are no tears left in him. Unless he finds laughter and tears again, the world faces disaster. He must learn that even the Dragon Reborn is flesh. If he goes to Tarmon Gaidon as he is, even his victory may be as dark as his defeat. And Cerelia's like, well, I don't know about that last battle shit. That seems like some fucking Wetlander bullshit.
They're like, we got to bring out the humanity in the Savior, right? He still has to be a person.
We have tried to make Randall Thor know his blood, but I fear he sees us as only another spear. If one spear breaks in your hand, you do not pause to mourn before taking up another. Perhaps you and I aim at targets not too far apart.
I love this team. I love it. Well, I think what I would do is like kind of like we've talked about Min's character and stuff. I would utilize Min more.
Yes.
Like, I'd be like, you have to be his, like,
But will Min
person.
go for that?
Well...
Or will she think they're using him through me?
If it's in his best interest, she would.
Probably,
If they're like, we want you to basically be his emotional support sponge, and, like, you don't have to tell us anything, you don't have to do whatever, but, like, we recommend, like, and actually give her helpful things to do to help him.
Yeah.
And talk to him about.
So then Cerelia's like, hey, by the way, gesture of goodwill, this is how you make a gateway. Cadsuane's like, oh.
How'd you know how to do that?
Okay.
That's a big gift. And gifts in IEO culture are big.
A very great gift, she said slowly. I have nothing I can give you to compare. And Cerelia grins a little bit and is like, yeah, you're in my debt now. And then she hands a bowl of water to Cadsuane.
Whoa.
Pours cups of water and goes, I offer you water oath. By this, we are bound as one to teach Randall Thor laughter and tears. And they both drank, and...
The therapy Aja was born.
We are bound as one. Well, Cadsuane's most recent way to do this was slap the shit out of him.
Well, it's in progress.
And if their targets turned out not to be the same at all, she did not underestimate Cerelia as ally or opponent, but Cadsuane knew which target had to be struck at any cost. That's the end of chapter 12. I love this duo.
I love it so much.
When I read this the first time, I went online and I was like, thank fucking God, because Rand is really starting to piss me off. And everybody was like, idiot.
Why?
I don't know.
I mean, here's the thing. I feel like this is real about all leadership. Like, you do have to be tough, right? You do have to be tough, but you have to be fair.
Yes.
And you have to be compassionate. And, like, you have to still access your feelings and your empathy and be able to connect with the people who you're leading.
Yeah.
Like, if people think you see them as just a number, they're not going to want to follow you.
No.
Right? They're not going to do their best work.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We have social media if you want to know what we've got going on. It's down below. We also have a Patreon if you want to support us that way. It's patreon.com/wheeltakes, and you can always leave us a rating and a review, which helps a lot. Other than that, anything else, Sally?
Old woman team.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you again for listening. This was Wheel Takes with Allie and Gus. Music by Alexander Nakarada.